is pretty much top of wedge. It is also sprayed out because it's going to be partially annuals with this one, but we'll give you a look at what we're calling 2400. So I know there's a lot of people out there that haven't got a lot of tucker, so we're grateful that we've still got some grass on the farm. A bit luckier with our rainfall than some have been, I guess. But when we talk 2400, it's not what you'd normally see. So that's our 2400. Here's a Scruffy Hill version of it. I'll come down and have a look. Again, this is sprayed out, so that's why it's got that sort of deathly pal to it. But this is what we're calling 2400. So it's not long, right? That's not a long way out of the ground. But cows aren't necessarily always cleaning up a paddock 100%, so it's telling us that there is plenty of grass in the paddock. It's not nice grass, it's crispy grass, it's low in protein, it's low in energy, but it's still food. So when we say 2400, that's what we mean. Anyone in Canterbury will giggle because they haven't seen grass like this under irrigated pastures for quite some time, I'm sure. But yeah, so 2400 isn't leafy and green, but it is long. So that is just a quick look at where we're at. Just to qualify, so that's that paddock I was just in before. I was parked over the other side of those trees, so we're calling that kind of 2400. Just to prove it's not all terrible and miserable. So we've got this as well, which is pretty cool. So these are our Coxfoot plantain ryegrass and white clover paddocks that we put down here. So this is our most friable terrace and driest land down here by quite some margin. So really interesting to see that Coxfoot's really holding its own. So healthiest looking paddocks we've got. And interestingly enough, even in those dry bits, so we've been showing you the really dry paddock in paddock 60, the plants are in hibernation mode. Really, they're not dead, they're still intact, but they ain't bothering to grow because it's too dry and I can't blame them. So we do have the odd greenish patch left. Kind of exciting, but it's certainly not enough to support 400 cows, so yeah. So these are all of our later calving, better conditioned cows, so cows with least body condition scored priority, therefore they're not getting as much palm kernel as the other mob is. So good reference point, and obviously again still a bit green, but like I was saying before, this was only kind of 2400. What's there's not fantastic, but cows are really content. So there's plenty for them to eat. They're happy just to chill out and cruise and relax and enjoy themselves quite quietly. Plus their bit of palm kernel, plus their 6 or 8 kilos of silage, and that's what we're doing at the moment. Growth this week's probably going to be 20 kilos or less. So we're starting to get to a critical point where there won't be much grass left to eat, and we'll be making some really strong decisions. There's 5 culls left on the property, the rest are gone, so we can't reduce stocking rate, and heifers are home in 7 weeks. So, you know, that feed budget is absolutely essential for everyone to do. Where do you need to be 1st of June? And what are the levers you've got to get yourselves there, the plans you need to make, and what does it look like? We're now dealing with a really uncertain autumn, which is a pain, but all we can do is sit tight, make plans, and protect next season. So next spring we can easily lose a whole bunch of milk if we don't do the right things now. So it's really important that we focus on making sure we're set up for these girls once they calve, fire off and try and do it all again next year. So last video for the day is just a little bit of what else is going on. So here we have a paddock. Species is really poor. Yield has been one of our worst yielding paddocks this year. It's tired, it's run out, and so it's time for it to go into annuals for winter, into crop next year, and then we'll pop it into new grass. This will be going into Coxfoot. So over there we've got our Coxfoot paddocks, and so this one will be joining in with them. That is now sprayed out. So there's no point at sucking any more moisture out of the ground to grow rubbish. It can just get sprayed out. It'll be getting drilled with new grass pretty early in the piece as well, so early next week new grass will go on the ground, and we're going to use effluent through all of these paddocks to add a bit more moisture to them. This next paddock along was one that was what we call our high plantain paddocks. The plantain, as expected, didn't survive this summer, and the grass in there hadn't survived because of soil type. And then the last one is this paddock here. So this is another one where it's time for it to join the cropping regime. So that's going into annuals ahead of next year's grass. And I'll let you look this way. So again, one of our greener paddocks, and obviously got the effluent irrigator in it today. But again, we'll just do what we can to preserve soil moisture and get the new stuff coming through as fast as possible. So We're not growing anything, we're not losing much for spraying them out. It means they're ready as soon as possible to grow something decent for us as we go into the autumn. But running the gauntlet a wee bit on when rain might come, so effluent's being a really valuable resource to help with that. And direct drilling means we're also going to lose as little soil moisture as possible in the process with the regrassing activities. So there's an awful lot going on at the moment, but like I say, it's all just thinking about we've got to get to closing cover of 2400 by 1st of June, so we can't afford for our regrassing to be late in that process. We need to maximise the growing window as soon as the rain comes, so everything will be set to grow, including the new grasses, the annuals that are getting sown, the grass to grasses, and so we've got some Italian undersowing and permanent undersowing to do as well. So there may not be a lot of grass growing, but there's an awful lot going on.